Hello and welcome to Theme Park Information. Today's show we have got a lovely little video of effectively Energylandia In Depth, which is where we're going to have a look at Energylandia. It's a little bit like a review, but a little bit more, bits of like future development, what is really good at the park, things they can improve, all that sort of stuff. Let's get into it straight away. So Energylandia is a park, which is fastly becoming the roller coaster capital of the world. Effectively, they are, building them as fast as humanly possible. Effectively, they're about to open a new section called Sweet Valley, I believe. Where they've got like a Vekoma mine train, which is actually a great addition to the park. Really good that they're building that. There's also heavy rumours about a tilt coaster, which is going to be apparently coming to the park. Apparently with a twist drop and about 850 metres of track. For those who don't know, a tilt coaster effectively, there's only a handful of these in the world at the moment, but effectively it involves like a very vertical section of track, and effectively the part of the track tilts, effectively, in the most layman terms possible. If I can find a picture or video or anything like that to put in this section, I will do. If not, then you might just have to research it yourself. But anyway, so yeah, they're getting that. So obviously, as you see, already lots of development and park improvements. There's rumours of a hotel as well for the park, which I think is actually a great part for a hotel. In fairness, there's actually quite a few little hotels popping up in the local area as well. Obviously, they've got a water park there as well, which apparently they might be expanding a little bit as well, potentially. And admittedly, I've never been to the water park, because I always go in like winter, but yeah, it's a really cool park for the most part. So anyway, let's move on to the park itself as an overview. It's generally very clean, tidy, so organised. They have lots of good staff. Generally speaking, they're pretty solid operations. Obviously, they have a couple of standout roller coasters in Hyperion and Zadra, both of those are really good. And then they have quite a few really good supporting cast roller coasters. So we have like Abyssus, we have like the Formula 1 coaster, and then they also have quite a few like more family-orientated coasters as well, like the Dragon Coaster. You obviously have the new Vekoma Mine Train coaster, and that opens out fill this gap nicely. They have a water coaster. They do have quite a few water rides in the park, but they all are a bit, other than like there's a giant splash one towards the back near the SLC or suspended looping coaster. They're pretty much all quite low key. This park doesn't, for example, have like a really unique standout log flume, for instance. And some of the flat rides are potentially a little bit, to be our best, a little bit knockoff, a little bit kind of like carnival-y, which is a real shame. It's a park which potentially that's an area they could really improve on. There's lots of absolutely fantastic flat rides out there in the world. They also possibly need a few more like massive large-scale dark rides and stuff like that. Effectively, you just need to be building attractions to like fill out their experience. I obviously think as well they need a few more really high-end coasters, which is really weird because, as I say, they're a park with lots of coasters. It just happens that quite a lot of the coasters they have are very much kids-orientated, which is why I think, it's really important they continue building, they continue developing. I mean, they're a park which literally seems to have just acres of land all around them. It's generally speaking, really good and exciting park to be a part of. So happy it's in Europe. Probably one of the fastest developing parks anywhere in the world. And also as well, they're developing and adding quality to it as well, not just quantity. As in terms of problems, there's obviously a few growing pains and stuff like that. There's a few very weird routes to get around the park, and certain things, some of the footpaths and areas are quite narrow, and there's not like a very set way of going from one end to the other. And I mean, bear in mind, some of the rides are miles away from each other. Like Hyperion and Zadra are literally at completely other ends of the park. And admittedly, they are walkable, but it does take a bit of time. It's also a park where, as I said, I think there's a few other rides that need to have effectively develop and build over time. As I say, more high-end sort of dark rides, more like really good sight and thrill like flat rides. Really good log flume, I think, would do this park wonders. I also think they potentially need to work on their theming. I know theming isn't super important in the grand scheme of things, but it's always really nice to have that immersion, to have that sort of like, effectively, it's a theme park for a reason, have a little bit of theming. As I said, in fairness to this park though, it does have so many positive. I mean, price-wise, really affordable, really good, value for money. I will say I found the food options at this park, pretty good for the most part. I mean, pretty much, like they're available, nicely, like spread out. So you're not like having to walk for ages to get to one. I would say, and I think this came from my normal review, that actually could really do with like an outdoor kind of bar area or a large seating area with like good shelter and maybe like heaters and stuff like that, but with like like a bar or maybe like some sort of like effectively like grill section or stuff like that to eat. That would be like really cool. And I also, as I said, I think this park could maybe just do a little bit more theme, a little bit more structure, and potentially a little bit more of like a slightly better layout. I mean, I'll put it this way: the route you get to go towards the back of the park, I really wish I'd filmed it because it's so like convoluted and just like you're going this way, that way, turning all around. It's like it makes a lot of sense once you're into the newer sections of the park. The layout's really massively improved. You're like, there's multiple ways to get here or go there, and they're all pretty like intuitive and well thought out. It's one of the things. It's as I say, it's a park which is going to continually to develop. It's not like it's going to stagnate. It's not like it's going to stop at this moment in time. It is a park which I will be honest, I think Poland and Europe can be proud of. It's really good. As I said, it's highly recommended. You can do this park easily in a day, which is really surprising. I do have a plan of attack coming for this park as well, and that doesn't mean invading it. It just means what order you should do rides and what rides you should mainly focus on and do. Also, it's one of those things where I do think you could potentially get a second day here. I would say though, it's not necessarily strictly needed. It is at this moment in time still a one-day park, and I will be honest, it's like I think that's generally down to the fact that even though they do have quite a lot of roller coasters, as I said before, quite a lot of them are more kids or family orientated. They don't have like the sort of the Magic Mountain or See the Point sort of lineup where there's lots of really high-end coasters and lots of other really good supporting rides in there, where it can become really difficult to do it in a day. But as I say, it's still a park developing. I'm sure in 5-10 years there'll be another at least 5 coasters here, maybe more. You don't know. And by that point, hopefully, they would have added some absolute quality coasters as well. Obviously, for what they're building in the future, obviously I've mentioned the tilt coaster and stuff like that. It's a really interesting one. Personally, I reckon this is the sort of park which maybe could get like something like quite high end, like a Mack Extreme Stinner potentially. I think that would work really nicely for this park. I actually also think they really are lacking a proper normal generic wooden roller coaster. I know the park markets Zadra as that, but I think maybe they could do with like a proper standard out and back layout, lots of airtime hills. I think that would actually work really well, or like quite a twisted section. I think that would potentially work quite nicely for them. They have quite a good selection of launch coasters. They have quite a good selection of like family coasters. I mean, obviously, if they build the tilt coaster, they're not going to need a vertical drop coaster or anything like that. Personally, maybe something like a wing coaster could work for them. As I say, it's one of the things. They still have quite a lot of options on the table. I will be honest, I think they possibly need something with lots of inversions to come up as well at some point. I think something like good style, like kind of like infinity coaster with like 5 and 6 versions, something like that. Just so which goes upside down a few times. I think that would work really nicely in this park as well. And then I think maybe they could also like do a little bit of lineup padding, with like maybe a couple of like the S&S like 4D coasters or something on those lines, where just a very easy ride just to pop in. But as I say, for the most part, I've been really impressed with Energylandia. I think it's a really top park, well worth going to. Obviously, as well, the fact that like Agendia and that coaster is also really close as well means there's a nice little grouping over there. So I'd highly recommend going there. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your own thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well there for you. Thank you very much for watching.